Hi, welcome to episode 4 of year 3. I'm trying to get a double bodyweight squat. Missed last week. Just time got away from me last week, which is frustration because I wanted to commit to every single week, but I didn't. So that's not good, but there we are. I've had a really kind of frustrating couple of weeks. I can't quite put my finger on why that has been. So this time, 2 weeks ago, numbers were on the way up. In fact, let's just kind of pop those numbers up a little bit. So I can show them again here. So this in the middle of the graph here was 0.54, was a high point really over the last couple of weeks. The number, the highest rep was over 0.7 meters per second. The slowest rep was faster than I had been doing, and then since that point, since the last 2 weeks, I've literally fallen off a bit of a cliff, and I really can't put my finger on it. And I have been trying to kind of work out why. Everything just seems to be worse, and I haven't got a rationale for that. I can't say, oh, this is the reason why, or that's the reason why. Just flat. I'm just really at the moment, really flat. Motivation to train has diminished. It's not gone. I can't say I've missed a massive amount of sessions. In fact, I haven't missed any sessions. But kind of when I've gotten there, the velocities are just low. The effort is heavy. It's hard. Work capacity is falling off a cliff. So the velocities, I'll just put back up again. So it's dropped down to like 0.54, and then actually there's a 0.54, then down to 0.59. And there's two or three sessions in there that I actually weren't able to complete 100 kilos for 20. I think I did the first 2 reps 0.66 range, and then by rep 7 I was into like the low 0.4s. Like work capacity just fallen massively. I couldn't sustain any velocity, any force output. Everything in the gym was just mentally hard work. And not that I think it will be easy, but I'd like weights. It's like when I go for a run, I really have to work hard and I don't really enjoy any step of it. It's just something to accomplish, something to achieve to make myself that bit healthier. Whereas in the weights, I typically enjoy the process. It's not like I'm forcing myself into. I can get in the gym most times, but I just had nothing to give the last couple of weeks. It's a little bit better this week, a little bit, but not by a massive amount. And so I'm starting to think about some of the I say rationalise it or justify it, or okay, go back into that physiological, psychological toolbox and try to explain why. And then I've stopped. And what I've done in the past would be then try to articulate, well, that's the reason why, and then try to fix the reason why, and justify why not doing as much or having a rest would be better. And every time I've done that, I haven't really got anywhere. So I'm like, bollocks to this. I'm just going to keep on going. And I'm going to keep and force myself to do it. And I'm going to batter that nail with whatever I've got on any given day, and I'll get better eventually. Because I've tried all the other stuff, the kind of accommodation and backing off and all the other stuff. And I just use it as an excuse in the end. So like, bollocks to that. Just keep on keeping on. But the other things around it are potentially maybe something I need to think about as well. I was listening to a podcast, James Clear podcast, on the, I think it was High Performance podcast. And he asked you, are your behaviours, if somebody could look at your behaviours, would they describe what your goals and objectives were? Or will they describe that they think your objective is something else? Because you can't describe what you're trying to do, they can see what you actually do. Would that be different? And I was starting to think about that a little bit, and the stuff around it. So things like kind of order of priorities. So the first one is like be a good parent, be a good family person, effectively. Look after your family. The next one is be good at your job. And I kind of think actually that being a good job is self-satisfying to me, but it's also part of the first part because I'm good at my job and allows me to look after my family a little bit better as well. And then kind of underneath that was getting stronger, and then I've added in a few other things like being a bit more aerobically fit. Again, that's part of being healthy, and that feeds into the hierarchy, which is be a better parent. Not for now, but be a better parent in the longer term. The fitter and healthier I am, the longer I can be a better parent for, I think. But then I started to think about, I was looking at, I've got the Apple Watch, we measure everything, monitor everything, trying to get as many calories burnt per day as I possibly can, get as many steps in a day as I possibly can. And again, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I think it was building up fatigue. That's good for physical activity, that's good for health and weight management, all that kind of stuff. But again, was it allowing me to try and be as strong as I possibly could be? Probably wasn't. So there's a balance there. I shouldn't be sedentary and just lift weights and sit down and lie down all day. That's the too far going the other way. But chasing up, like having it out, like again, other people don't use Apple Watches, might have no clue, but I try and have like 1,000 active calories a day. Thinking, is that behaviour matching my goal of squatting double body weight? It probably isn't, because the more I move around, the more I can have on my legs and on my feet, the more fatigue I'm likely to accrue, and therefore it's going to kind of impact on the next day's training. So there's that part to it. Then I started thinking, well, why am I so obsessed by having this 1,000 calories and moving loads every day? Well, part is that we're told to do that, and that has crept in. And the other part of that was weight management, and I've got all sorts of issues for managing my weight over time, and I do generally want to be lighter and lean and all those kinds of things. But all that was doing was making me more tired and then more hungry, and therefore eat worse. So it was actually feeding being an operative word, worse dietary habits by being more active. I find it very hard to stick to the 2,500 calories that I should need, and I craved all sorts of crap. And it was probably because I was creating more fatigue and more tiredness than my dietary control would allow for. So there's a bit of that in there. So I need to kind of dial back. So if I was to scale back how active I was, not again get that balance right between sedentary and active. So I still want to go for a run and still want to go for the weight, so I'm not going to be sedentary. So, but I'm also not going to try and chase up those numbers as much as I probably was, and focus more on maintaining kind of some fatigue and energy levels for strength training. That then should, I hope, have less drivers and less triggers for eating crap food and being hungry most of the time. That means actually I can keep the weight down and keep coming down without having to do this really extreme kind of calorie deficits that I was trying to get, which was unsustainable and making me bloody miserable to be honest. So it's like, sometimes I couldn't sleep, I was bloody hungry. And then obviously the next day, because I've not slept, I ate like crap, and it was just this crap cycle. So there's a bit of that then, just having a bit of reflection going, have I all these little kind of behaviours all over the place, probably not aligning with what I was trying to achieve. Does that explain what's on that graph? A bit, but not everything. There's obviously work-life stresses and all that, but yeah, I haven't missed any workouts, but I haven't got the most out of those workouts, and that's been frustrating. And then I carry that frustration to the next session, and then kind of almost kind of somewhere between over expecting to improve and half expecting to have gotten worse. So just kind of overthinking it a little bit there as well. So yeah, basically I'm just talking bollocks out of it. Just like bollocks. Just need to go back in the gym, keep on squatting, and life will get better. And that's where I'll leave it today.